Hi, everybody. This is Bridget Willard, your host for the Warren Laine-Naida YouTube channel. So that would be Warren Laine-Naida sitting
That's
next to
me.
me.
Hello.
We're going to talk about what else, SEO, from
Yeah,
conversations to conversions.
that sounds like a really good idea. Hey, Bridget, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. I don't teach
Excellent.
SEO, but I make SEO. I think the acronym you made for me has something to do with future SEO. I predict the keywords you want people to find. I mean, when Steve Jobs invented the iPod, nobody was looking for an iPod. The
No,
category, the category was MP3 player.
yeah, yeah.
So I have distinct opinions about keywords. I have fought with PPC people about keyword cannibalization and
Hmm.
their ad budget and everything. And I'm like, you should be happy you got found in the first place, A. And B, you're welcome. You paid me to write for your article, and it's better than your existing page. So let's
Hmm.
learn from the better article that ranks and then not the page you thought was so great in the first place. This is all the learning you get from optimizing. You optimize based on performance. You
Yeah.
paid somebody to optimize it, and now it's performing, and now you're mad. That's like entitled SEO.
This is going to be a new acronym then,
I mean,
entitled.
that's the worst part about SEOs is they're dumb acronyms. And I'm going to
Yeah.
say something. I know it's your channel, but I'm just going to say something.
Okay.
SEO has been the same since 2006. I mean, mobile get in 2015. That's still 10 years. It's all the same. Thank you for watching Warren Lane-Naida's channel. But
Good.
okay, for the clip that I'm going to put on Instagram. No,
Yeah.
conversations create demand and SEO captures it. And then content converts. So there's conversation, SEO, conversion, and
Yeah.
then you have generative engine optimization, which I think is a terrible acronym. If anything, you would use the drinking term agentic. Like,
Yeah.
what what is your take on this workflow, on this natural funnel?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just reinventing the wheel, or renaming the wheel. Really, nothing has changed. Marketing hasn't changed since probably ever. But I mean, let's start the story perhaps at like around Ben Franklin and his Farmer's Almanac and content marketing. But I think we have to give the old process new names, because if we don't, then how are we going to sell it? Okay. Your example of Steve Jobs is perfect. I mean, we had MP3 players. This is perfect. And then maybe sales were tailing off. So some bright spark, I guess, Steve Jobs said, what if we called it an iPod?
A
You
thousand
know,
songs in your pocket.
no one's heard of. It's still an MP3 player. It's just MP3 player plus, and that wouldn't have sold as well.
Well, I think,
So,
I think so. Just going on your whole commodity versus non-commodity SEO, what
okay.
Steve Jobs did for the MP3 player category. I mean, I know they're not in Apple Music or whatever,
Yeah,
iTunes. It wasn't really MP3s. They had some
yeah,
other version, but let's just stick with MP3. He sold it. 1,000 songs in your pocket because no one then and no one now really knows how much data. I mean, think about it. People don't know if their king size bed is going to fit into a home they're buying. You think
yeah,
they know how many songs 5G is, or how many movies 5G is, or how many megabytes their pictures are that they're taking on their iPhone 72 Max Pro? I mean, nobody knows how big these things are.
yeah. Okay, so like I've got two answers to your two statements slash questions there. So what has never changed is that, and as you always say, and I always repeat, is that you cannot buy anything unless you've had a conversation first. Okay. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule. You're standing waiting for the cashier and do grab and go, or your kids are pulling your arm, and but that's still, I mean, it's still a conversation. Often it's a wordless conversation, but it's still a conversation that maybe you're having within yourself, or your kids trying to have with you, or whatever it is. Okay, but we don't just buy something without some sort of preemptive moment. So the SEO and GEO and keywords and all the other terms that have been bouncing around lately, commodity content, non-commodity content, entities, how they fit into our marketing is that we have a conversation, and a conversation creates demand, or at the very least, it sparks interest.
Yes.
Okay. This is, this has always been my big hobby horse that the SEO agency says, see, people are looking for your term. We did that. It's like, no, people are looking for the term because they heard it, in a conversation at a party or whatever, but it might have nothing to do with the SEO agencies. So you've got your conversation, and that creates demand. Now, the SEO captures this demand. So people go, hey, my MP3 player is maxed out. Do I need to buy a second MP3 player? Okay. So now your content on your website, if you're smart, you will probably, I mean, it's still kind of old school SEO, but it still works. You'll have some best guide ever to having music in your pocket. So there'll be all of this, how many songs fit in an MP3 player? How many love songs fit? How many MP3 players can you fit in a pair of jeans, in your purse? Like all of, these very irritating articles and things that we get. So the content then converts the SEO captures these keywords, and then your content should convert it in one way or the other. So it could either convert it into awareness, like, oh, I didn't know there was a larger MP3 player. Okay. Or it could get you into a conversation on social media. But what if we talk about the iPod, what it does then is your question, how many songs fit on my MP3 player? Then this converts to the landing page that says, well, you don't have to ask that question anymore because you can now have 1,000 songs in your pocket. And that's how you have the sort of conversation. Oh, I have to keep deleting songs, to is there a bigger MP3, to yes, there is the iPod.
How many
Um,
albums can I put on it, right? If an
like,
average album is 10 songs,
yeah,
right? It's not going to be your Pink Floyd length,
no
but still it's,
song.
but I mean, people just, they don't know. They don't know. And the tech constrains you. I mean, just
Yeah,
staying with music here, the 3-minute song is there because that was one side of the record. That's
yeah,
all you could put on it was 3 minutes.
exactly,
So
exactly.
that's not some arbitrary number, right? There's reasons why there are these benchmarks. And I really liked what you said was we have to give the process a new name so we can sell it. Because so in my
Yes.
part-time life in retail,
Yeah.
I'm seeing things. I'm getting the phone calls. I
Mm,
saw this beaded bag on TikTok, to which I
yeah.
roll my eyes and say, if you saw it in the Corpus Christi market on TikTok, it's already sold out because we're not the market, okay? But
Yeah.
they still want the same thing they saw on TikTok that's already super old. They
Yeah.
want this exact thing. They want this exact barrettes that they saw on TikTok. Or even I was thinking about the Diaper Genie. So when I was helping raise my grandson, the Diaper
Mhm.
Genie was super expensive. So we're talking, he was born in 94, okay, 94, 95, 96, when he was in diapers. Well, it was
Yeah.
too expensive. So we used the plastic bags. You just double bag it, put it in a regular bin, trash bin and pull it out. What the Diaper Genie did was it just gave you a continuous roll of like poop bags for dogs, or like
Hmm.
the bags when you go to the supermarket to put your vegetables in. Gave you that continuous roll, so you just put it in there and then you moved on with your life. But
Yeah.
now I just sold one for $50. This is 30 years later or whatever. So the
Mhm.
thing is, Diaper Genies, you can use that as a category. Um, Uber was not
Yeah.
Uber was not a category. Ride sharing wasn't a category. We were taught our whole lives to not go into a vehicle with a stranger.
Yeah.
The taxi, we knew a taxi, um, and so they had to do all these tactics to get their awareness up, to start the conversation. They had to almost like how PR people do at concerts, give away a bunch of free tickets so it looks full,
Yeah.
right? So you can do that with money and you could start it that way, but that doesn't mean that the category will stay or that it will stick or that your product, because Sony was the first MP3 player, if my memory serves correctly. But
Hmm.
nobody
Hmm.
thinks of Sony when they think of music.
No.
I mean,
No.
not, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Because they had the Walkman, they had the Discman.
Walkman.
Sony
Yeah.
is a music label, right? So,
Yeah.
and the boom boxes and whatnot. But the iPod, that's it. And now it's on your phone. So
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
even need an iPod, right? So,
Well, yeah. I mean, what you said, this is an important crossover to where we are now, where we were. So if you had the conversations like how am I going to get from A to B, and then you're googling taxi or driving or whatever it is. And so if you've got a successful brand name, the brand names become the search terms,
yes.
such as like Xerox, plastic wrap, Uber, things like this, Photoshop, Google, even to AI something. So, but there is a problem with that, okay? You don't want your brand name because brand names are the entities, okay? This is where you cross over to GEO. AI want to be able to cite you, and if they cite you, they make you unforgettable, as it were. But they're only going to cite you if you are continually the best authority and the most useful and unique answer to this question. Okay, I mean, we talked about this before. I mean, people libraries are like SEO. Okay, libraries are like Bing and Google. And if you want a book, you can go to the library, you can go to Bing, Google. They'll give you the best website, library will give you the best book. If you ask me information, I will give you the information I have based on the knowledge I have. Now, I've got 60 years of knowledge, so I can give you knowledge. But if you say, where did you get this knowledge from? It's like, now, if it's memorable knowledge, then I can tell you, said this book or this professor in 1982. And that's probably a really good example because my political science professor, Francis Grell, okay, he was a Black Panther and he taught political science first year in 1982. And I took his course. Now, that would be an example of an entity that AI can capture and can give back. It is a non commodity entity and it makes you unforgettable. Francis Grell is, for me, unforgettable, and I can give that back. So in this case, I'm acting like AI. But if you said, tell me something about political science, I could give you general information, and that's more like Google. It is forgettable because I had more than one political science teacher, and I read a lot of political science books, and I have my own ideas. So that's more like SEO. So to go back to the Uber and the iPod, if I want a taxi, I might just say I'm going to call an Uber. I don't actually mean I'm going to call an Uber. I might just mean I'm going to call a taxi. So that's really not good for Uber as an entity because it's lost with all of the general keyword terms for getting from A to B.
Well, yes and no. Okay, so that.
Okay,
This is branding, right?
that's
So
branding.
you
Yeah.
want people to say Xerox and Kleenex, and when it becomes a verb, that means you are the one who won. You are the one entity who won, WON, the category. Okay,
But does it make you any money?
but well, you
Does
still
it?
have to keep advertising. And I will say this, I've
uh,
said it thousands of times at this point.
yeah.
Coca-Cola is still advertising.
Yeah.
They don't need to advertise. I will always buy Diet Coke. For me, I don't need the ad. But they still advertise. They still advertise. They still advertise. They sponsor events. They advertise. I mean, this is that's the difference between organic and advertising. And when you put them together, if they work together,
Mhm.
if these two departments are
Yeah.
allowed to collaborate,
Yeah.
it's piece de resistance. Okay.
If it works, because if it doesn't work, all you do is you have the the award-winning, best known in the world tomato sauce, because everyone knows your jingle, but no one remembers the name of the product, and
Well,
they don't
that's
know the product. How are they going to buy you? So
so
you know
that's a risk factor. So that's a
this,
risk factor.
this is
And when the insurance companies
yeah,
and fast foods are doing this, so they're moving more into entertainment. I love all your ads. That's not making me convert. I don't care. I'm not converting to your ads are hilarious, but I'm not doing
yeah,
it. Wendy's and the McDonald's thing, that doesn't make
yeah.
me choose Wendy's. It doesn't
Mhm.
make me choose Wendy's because I think
But
it's immature and obnoxious, but it might be funny, but it's not making me choose Wendy's over McDonald's.
I mean, this is fine when we're talking top of mind. This is good,
But that's the
but
goal, isn't it?
yeah, I know. Yes and no. Well, yes, it is, but no, it isn't. Okay. If we're talking awareness, if we're talking, if we're talking awareness, basically, then it's fine because I see your name. But if we're talking conversion, if we're talking that 20%, it's a really small percent. If we're talking the 20% of search that is about money, about commercial transaction, that's a very small window. Okay, and you have to be there in a decisive way so that people go, there's that name again. And I'm actually in the position, my intent is to purchase, and I'm seeing the name again, so that's reinforcing it. And this is where the iPod was so successful, I think. The iPod, I'm going to go out on a limb. iPod was not successful because it was an MP3 player. iPod was successful because it was part of some bigger thing, you know?
The soundtrack
Um,
of your life.
yeah, but it's still, I mean, I had an MP3 player, but it wasn't an iPod. Why? Because I just never bought into the whole Apple thing. I've never had an Apple product. Samsung, Lenovo, Microsoft. I don't Dell. I've never had, I don't, because I'm not buying the story. I don't need the story. I want the product that works best for me.
Right. But
So
the people who don't do love it, right?
yeah,
Which is me,
yeah,
we're in. We're in.
yes,
But so you
yes.
still have to keep us. And this is one thing I want to bring up. I know
Yeah.
we've gotten a tiny bit off track, but I don't really think
I
we've
don't
gone
even
off
know what
track.
track we're on anymore. No,
No, because
we're coming back
because
to the track.
yes, because the core problem is
Yeah,
and it's we market in the wrong order. And this is an important part. This is where I am always focused with marketing.
yeah,
Marketing is communication while understanding human behavior and
yes,
psychology. Okay?
yes,
So the people who want to be cool, the people who
yeah,
want to associate with the Rolex people, the Tesla people, the Apple people, that's a lifestyle choice. But what I want to remind everybody is that we we never purchase because we researched the best thing. We make purchases based on our lizard brain, and then we go back and justify it with our research.
Mm,
That's why discovery and validation is the most
yeah,
important part of a content strategy. Because once my friend or TikTok or my friends, and we're all watching TikTok, talk about this thing or this vacuum or whatever the hell they're talking about, um, and I'm like in, okay, so I'm in. Now we're all
yeah,
talking about it. Now I'm going to go research it so I make sure I'm spending my money correctly. But the discovery happened somewhere else. So now you're going to go back and validate it. And that's why it's so important for product companies to have blogs. And you're the one that sent me the research from the German company that showed that what they did is that study, and it's translated on my website, that ChatGPT will recommend a product page if you're asking for uh, the use case and the the product page if you're asking for that specific Nike
yeah.
shoe, and then it will if you're just trying to find out the best running shoes, they'll recommend a blog post. So products have to have the actual purchase page, the checkout, the store page. I call it a product page, and then the blog post that talks about the whole thing.
Yep.
That does that, and you also hit on something that's super important. And I think we need to extract that out. Is that you as a human have gained 60 years of knowledge, whatever, learning all these things, and you're citing things with the exception of, oh yeah, Scott Stratton from Unmarketing remembers the 10-10-10 rule. Okay.
Mhm.
Except for that, we're not citing stuff because people are paying for our expertise. Well, that's what ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude are doing. With the exception of like you do if you pay for the deep dive and you can ask for those sources, but it doesn't cite the sources and footnotes that where it comes up with some theory. It doesn't it A lot of times it's wrong. I mean, the AI overview when I was doing research for an article actually cited a deleted Reddit post, a
Nice.
deleted Reddit thread. The question itself was deleted. The answers were still there, but that is garbage. That's a garbage
Yeah.
referral. And I've been taught, and I'm sure you were, to go back as far as you can to the primary source, right? So if you want to be an AI overview of Google and in those couple of boxes, well, that's like being in the zero answer box, right? And
Yeah.
what shows like your picture, Bridget's 3-2-1 method for LinkedIn or whatever. Okay. We've all been cited in this. All right. But if you're just going to teach the LLM about you, and what you do, it's going to learn from you, but it doesn't mean it's going to say, well, Bridget Willard said. It's not going to
Yeah.
do that. It's not going to cite you in the answer. So you still need to have your own content.
Yes. I mean, what GEO can do is, I mean, your direction is there's a conversation, and this conversation can create demand. This is fine. Um, but for me, I'm interested more in the intent. And now the intent and demand can be connected. But as you said, and what's very important, because this is the one very tiny thing that studies have shown with AIs, is that if there's going to be something we can put our finger on is when it comes to um, uh, making a purchase or choices or conversion when it comes to commercial intent. This is something that AI can help us with because it has specific entities and very non-commodity niches of information. So an example, running shoes. There are probably very few very okay no let's I'm sorry let's go back to the let's go back to the iPod. The iPod, if it came out today, it would be very successful, sure, because of the branding, but AI wouldn't give a donkeys about the branding. AI would say, look, give us the one best thing for what people are looking for, and then the iPod would come up, because AI would look at all the information that comes in, and say, okay, if people are looking for a device where 1,000 tunes are, this is the only device we have, and it would be proven time and time again with the information that comes in and with search. And if we're talking Gemini, Reddit, and la 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 la, so that's fine. But for most things, most products are very generic. There are 67 types of ketchup on the store shelf.
What?
Which one's the best? You can't tell, and AI would not be able to tell you which is the best because they're all commodity products. So if you've got something that's really good, and this goes back to basically, how we get out of this general SEO trap. If you want to be unforgettable, like, get that one thing that you do better, and you can prove time and time again that you do better than anyone else, and that can get us cited. And as you said, if you've got the brand name, you'll be cited for the brand name. And then again, the danger for me would be like, oh, there's that iPod again. And people start using the term iPod for the 10 euro knockoff from Timu. It's not an iPod, but people start calling it an iPod. So
So
it
brand
is
dilution, category
it
dilution.
is, so I mean, at some point, like, Gucci said, I don't care that everyone's knocking off our brands. It's our name that people are seeing. But Gucci can afford this. They've got billions. Okay. But if you are a freelance graphic designer making logos, you do not have the luxury of becoming a generic term. You've got to identify one thing, one framework, one offer that only you do, and you've got to hammer it in to search and social media and everything you can, so that everyone knows, yes, this is this logo design, but it really stems from this person in this city in this year because they started it. And I think most of us are at that level. We're not going to be at the Gucci level. We're at the little person level, but we need to be found. So, we can nail the conversation on social media. We can rank number one in Google. We can get our clicks. But if we want a chance to be found in AI overviews or anything like that, we need to be really special. We need to be unforgettable. We need to be cited, and then the whole circle is complete. Yeah.
So you said something I think is really important to call back out. You don't have the luxury of becoming a generic term. Now I see
No.
your point. So with the new layer, SEO versus GEO, the
Mm,
search engines are going to index websites, rank the best page, refer authority, but you're competing with big brands and established sites.
yeah.
So those are going to be expensive keywords on the PPC side, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they're going to be difficult for organic. So you really want to be educational?
You want to be educational for awareness and consideration, but then you need a completely different set of keywords for your for your click, for your lead generation, for whatever it is. I mean, and these channels work together. You need to you need to get you've got your ownership of the term, and now you need to capture the demand for that term in your SEA, because you got to get the traffic.
Yeah, so you
So,
get the traffic, it comes to your page.
yeah.
This is the goal of SEO.
Okay, well, there I would say the goal of SEO is to be is visibility. It's not the
Visibility,
click. For
yes.
me, SEO and it, but I'm a crazy person.
So where does uh, generative engine optimization play
Yeah.
in the in the life cycle of your sales cycle? Like, so
Yeah.
if
That's a good question.
SEO is just for visibility,
Yeah.
page converts. For a hot minute, Shopify and ChatGPT were in bed with each other with the checkout, and now
Yeah.
it's already gone. Okay,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, you cannot buy on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It will send you to that website, and you can. I was asking it like, oh, and analyze my colors. Okay,
Mm.
this little AI tool test I took on Facebook says these are my colors. Okay, and so take this selfie with no makeup, and tell me the best shirts to buy on Halara.com.
Hmm.
It really couldn't do it. If I
Okay.
took a screenshot of a pink shirt and said, "Does this match?" it could do it. But because I was like, okay, so can you really help me like with this decision fatigue on I gained 20 pounds this year. Like I had to get different shirts. Like it's a real issue, right? A real problem. So you might as well buy something that looks good on you, right? So what
Yeah.
are the best colors?
Yeah.
And it could not, it could give me some images from the internet, but those, because I did it with Halar.com, I did it with JCPenney.com, I did it with TJMax.com, and it was sending me images and pages of things that were sold out.
Yeah.
Okay. It could not do it. So I don't see how for e-commerce, I see it for B2B, I see it for knowledge based
Hmm.
things, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's a large language model, okay? I
Yeah.
get that. But ChatGPT doesn't even know what time it is.
Yeah.
It can't tell because I talk to it all the time. It's my friend now. It's just a
Okay.
sad state of my
Well,
life. And
yeah.
so, but I'll say, well, da da da. Okay, well, like if I talk to it right now, it's used to me talking to it at night. But if it's 11 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, if I say, oh,
Mhm.
blah, 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 I talked to Warren about this and this and this, and he said that, that. Well, okay, well, do you want to work on that tonight or do you want to do it tomorrow? Now, if I say, remind me Sunday at 11 to work on this project, it can do that, but it doesn't timestamp the conversations. It's not
No.
telling time. So it
No.
doesn't know how long something took. You and I have talked about this before. So
Yeah.
what my point is I really love your analogy of the library. The
Hmm.
library are your primary sources. Your brain as a consultant, as a teacher, as a web generalist, that's That's Chat GP Warren, okay? Warren GPT.
Yeah.
You've amassed knowledge, except for a few people that you heard that you remember from all of the years that you've learned, all of the books that you've read. Except for a few people, there's hardly anyone you could cite. So
Yeah.
even in this conversation, the goal of being cited by an LLM is a terrible, terrible goal. That's what I'm getting out of the conversation.
Oh,
It's not going to
really?
cite you. It's going to learn from you It's going
Yeah.
to learn from you, but
Well,
the odds of it getting citing you, it's and
why
now,
not? I
okay,
mean,
well, okay, I will say I did get a short-term project. Somebody said the best marketer in Corpus Christi, okay? But they could have gotten that from Google.
okay, so I mean, for me, I don't, I, one, I, no one should put a lot of reliance on AI as part of their sales funnel. Okay. We're already putting far too much reliance on AI. But where it can help and where it will help and become more important is simply as another way of how we've always done things. Okay. So, I mean, SEO supports SEA. So our organic keywords support the PPC keywords. We, if we know what we want, we will go there and we'll be very specific and we'll buy it or whatever. But if we're not too sure what we want, and as you say, you're right, this is really important in B2B because the funnel is longer. Okay, B2C, the steps are much fewer. But even then, for both B2B and B2C, if I am looking for information about a product and I'm not too sure, so I'm in that comparative phase, okay? We've always done this with Google or Bing, but we are tending now to do this much more with either a chatbot or with the AI overviews. But there's nothing to say that we can't be visible in both. So Google
Yes,
will get
yes,
the
it's
answer.
okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I've been trying not to interrupt you this whole time. Thank
Go
you for
ahead.
saying that because to me, ChatGPT et al., because now I call the whole category ChatGPT,
Yeah.
okay, is
Or
basically another social media channel.
yeah. Well, no, it's an answering machine. Like Google and Bing were always
Right,
answering machines. It's
right.
an
It's just
answering machine.
another one of those
But
channels.
but if we're cited there, it's even better than being cited in Google. Because if Google ranks our page and puts our information in featured snippet and a knowledge graph, this reinforces the non-decided people that okay, that's the best alternative.
Yes, the validation part of discovery and validation.
So, but we can also that can also occur in a chatbot.
Yes.
A chatbot will say, well, this is very interesting. You're asking about your colors. The best color makeup or whatever for this is Maybelline 137.
Yeah,
You
but see,
know,
this is the thing. I did it, and then it took the colors. It named an apricot. It named a green. It named peach. Okay,
yeah,
like it could not. I said I work at TJ Maxx. I want to use
yeah,
my discount. What things on tjmaxx.com?
yeah.
What shirts that would be good for what high-waisted petite pants? Because I don't have petite in my store, but I could get petite online. What
Mhm.
high-waisted petite pants are in these colors? It
Yeah.
can't do
But
it.
that is not that is not AI's fault. That
Well,
is
I think this is what everybody's selling. This is my point. You and
what.
I know that, but everybody's like, "Oh, who cares about Google?" Because they're just gonna ask the chatbot. But
But
I'm
that's
telling you
exactly
that
what.
like it's even with all of the information I fed it about my size, my weight, the pictures of me, my body proportions, having a long torso, short legs, my inseam, even with all of the information I gave it about me, it cannot tell me, it cannot give me the best places to shop.
But why should it? It can't
I
give you
think this
any.
is how it's being sold to people. I think this is what I hear
Sorry.
everybody's talking
Yeah,
about.
but people don't understand this, and this is exactly why we're talking about this today. you know? It's like if you go to the library and say, I'd like this book, and they don't have this book, you cannot go to your friends and say, this library sucks because it didn't have that information. That's nothing to do with the library. Maybe this information just doesn't exist. Maybe this book is no longer in print. That's not the fault of the library. The
No,
library can
yes.
only have now the AI is exactly the same. So if you were going to advise this store, yeah, and say, I'm looking and ChatGPT is not able to advise me of any of your products. Well, that is because there is no entity products, entity advice, any niche information that TK Maxx has made available to AI on their website that answer the specific question. If there was, there's a good chance that AI would find it, but there isn't.
So I'm gonna build on this, and this is part of what goes back to the regular old SEO intent and knowing what people are really looking for. So right now, what's super popular on the internet, which got me obsessed with this in the first place, and I know we're going long, but I feel like this is really important to differentiate. AI is like shoving this in your face, and I'm trying to process it, okay? And now I'm going, okay, what am I? What is my intent? What search terms am I looking for? I'm looking
Hmm.
for the best colors for spring, for a spring palette, okay?
Okay,
A bright,
that's a
no, but
okay,
listen,
that's a
no, but
very
no, but stay with me.
generic commodity search,
Yeah,
though.
but
You're not
stay with
going to
me.
find that in
Yeah, but
AI.
stay with me. But what
Yeah,
if Helara knew that and said, and made blog posts of, here is your capsule wardrobe, which is huge right now on social media, on LinkedIn, I mean, on not LinkedIn, Instagram, Reels, probably TikTok, right? Because it
yeah,
goes, TikTok is like, it starts at TikTok and goes to Reels, just like it starts at Reddit, goes to Twitter. So
yeah.
if the product companies themselves picked up on this and started adding a product attribute called season, and then made so that they're so that like color beige, uh part of the spring season, okay, or
Yeah.
whatever, and then made blog post of, here is your bright spring capsule wardrobe from halara.com.
Okay.
Now if they did that, if the product company did that, then ChatGPT would have the information to give me. But the thing
Okay.
is, and I think this is where people aren't thinking. This
Yeah.
is this is the break in the line of thinking, in the logical line of thinking. You still have to do, you still have to know how people are searching. You still have to pick up on the trends and apply that to your business. And you still have to adjust the copy on your own website.
E- Yes, but again, AI search isn't like Google and Bing search. So this works if we inundate Google and Bing with our blog posts, and our blog posts are connected with our products, and we're running SEA, and we're talking about on social media. This is fine because Google looks very linearly, but AI doesn't search like this. Okay, I think we talked about this. Well, not here. We talked about this. I think last week. AI will do what they call query fan outs. So when you're talking about the best colors for spring for something, that is one thing. But then AI will think, what are related what's related information to this? The word peach, what are terms related to peach? It will fan out in a broad way, and it will pull out, and then you see the answers. You go, okay, there's the sentence that I was looking for, there's the answer, but what's all this related information? That's the fan out. And if you want to be caught in that, you're not, you're not creating 10 blog posts, you're creating, 1,000 blog posts so that you can be caught for all of these possible fan outs that they are doing. And as well, I mean,
So you
chat G,
still need content on your website.
you need content in your relationship, but it
That
has to be
has
very,
to
very
do with
specific.
search intent. And in order to understand intent, you have to understand human behavior. And in order to
Yeah,
understand, you have to know what the trends are to know
yeah.
what people are searching.
But as well, I mean, we started long ago. We started 2 years ago. Everyone's saying we have to have content chunks. And okay, well, but if you think about it that way, I mean, it's not as relevant now. But if you think about it that way, it means in your 1,000 word blog post, the little chunk that AI will find relevant is this 10 word sentence. That's all it's going to pull from your blog post. Maybe if you're lucky. And Perplexity does it differently than Gemini, does it differently than Claude, and Perplexity is something. I mean, there's a difference between LMS, the LLMs like Claude and ChatGPT and things. That's different than like Perplexity, which is more like a search machine. So it's like you said, you have to know your customers so much better than do they use Google or Bing. It's just like which of the 27 different search possibilities are they using? How old is this information? Which fan out? This is why they've done studies, and it's just like maybe from this 100% search, maybe there's like a 16% chance of being found between you and all your competitors. And this is why the answers that we get back from AI are maybe not so SEO optimized, but only because good luck. I mean, we can't spank the chatbots for this. It's just like, I mean, if you think about the possibility of keyword variations of buying a pair of sneakers, how much content would you need for that generic?
Oh, don't even get me started. Because when I was at first working on the floor, I'm like, what are the best sneakers to wear for retail
Exactly.
that are still business casual? Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
this, I'm
forget
gonna I'm gonna
search.
give you my final
Sorry.
takeaway. Then we're gonna ask for your final takeaway. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm speaking this week at the Adaroom Web Summit. It's talking
Nice.
about using your objections to form to inform and form the content on your website. Okay,
Mhm.
that now people like all of these retail brands are getting questions that should be on
Yeah.
their FAQ pages. That they should be monitoring how people are searching for them.
Yeah.
And if they see that, they don't have to guess at the fan outs. They already know if they will listen, if they will pay attention to what people are tweeting, if they will pay attention to the things that people are talking about online, if they're
Yeah.
following and you know using AI to aggregate that information or whatever, they
Yeah.
could be even more successful because they wouldn't have to guess what that fan out would be to be cited. They would know that people want to know the best capsule wardrobe from Halara.com for a bright spring, and that's it.
I mean, yeah, if the yeah, I mean, my takeaway would be yes, but you need to find this one thing and hammer away at it. And this is where, AI GEO has replaced Google and Bing as the answering machine because we now trust chatbots. So they are really almost like the mom and dad saying, "Oh, you're looking for this, buy this." And this is how it can support us. So if I am an if I'm like the best SAS, if it's SAS, if I'm the best SaaS company in Boston, good, I can be ranked in Google and Bing. This is fine. But if I'm making a decision about the best colors for spring, or should I go with this SaaS company, and I'm using AI, I'm going to trust the reinforcement. And if I see in AI, and I don't have to be cited, but if I see what AI is telling me, I go, I saw exactly that sentence on that website, in that brochure, in the offer from SaaS. If I'm seeing that, the citation would be great, but I don't maybe even need that citation because they pulled that out from somewhere. And if we've been hammering away at it, they pulled it, if we're lucky, from what we've been saying, from our website, from whatever.
So
It's,
your thing
yeah,
is you're going to use LLMs as a validation machine.
we are. We are. How many people? I mean, forget Dr. Google. It's now my AI girlfriend or AI boyfriend. We have moved significantly into a completely different. So yes, if we can be there, then yeah, we have to be unique. I mean, you're present in search. Sorry, you're present before the search. Then you are present in search. If you can have this search reinforced with what you have said, and there it is, right in AI, your chatbot, then that's probably where we are right now. And yeah. So
I
I'm
know.
off to write 12,000 blog articles topic.
I'm just saying, like, yes, you should have the one thing.
True. But I don't think, like I say, that's really nothing different than old Ben Franklin. He had a product. It was an authoritative product. It was a unique product. If anyone wanted to know anything about the weather next autumn, they always went to one place. And what was that place? The Farmer's Almanac.
Dude, I have a Ben Franklin book in the other room of his like quotes and
Did you
proverbs or whatever.
add colors for spring? Maybe it's there. You never
No,
know.
it's not there. But I'm just saying, like, I'm going. I think we sometimes use because you're an SEO, you stay in the present. My brain is always thinking about if this is true, then
Yeah.
this is where we need to go.
Yeah.
And they're both true at the same time. But I
Yeah.
just think that we shouldn't double down on AI when it's changing so fast.
No, we
Because,
should we definitely
like,
not double down
yeah,
on it, but it's here, so we use it.
yes,
Well, we used to use Dreamweaver. We used to make websites with
yep,
Flash.
I did that. I did that.
Yeah, I did that too, and I tripled down on Flash websites. Oh, and then you go and do something else. So if that's what people are talking about, if I got clients, I have to do a presentation tomorrow, and there has to be a GEO a module in there. Otherwise, the first thing they're gonna go, hey, where's the chat? Where's the chat SEO? And I'd be like, seriously? It's got to be there. Just like 20 years ago, it's like, why is this website not in Flash?
Or 10 years ago, why is it not mobile friendly? All right, is there one last thing you want to say before I press stop on record?
Talk, search, decide. And
All
if you're
right.
not too sure, ask ChatGPT.
Or just go to warrenlanenaida.net.
Yeah, do that. I won't up to the clicks.
Bye from Corpus Christi.
Ciao for now. Bye from Dortmund.